Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between. I am your hostess, Horror and Hellfire, and we are continuing this month's, I guess, train of thought or sort of gift that gifts keeps on giving with our guests. Today, I have Strictly Patrick, who has become quite a bit involved in the community or multiple communities that I'm involved in. How are you doing tonight, Patrick?
Good, and you? How? Well, good. How about you? Man,
I
look at that.
am
I tried to say
doing
everything at once.
absolute. I'm doing absolutely peachy, my man. I'm I'm excited for the holiday season.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm always
Any
usually
big
really
plans?
busy. Yep, I'm gonna be gone for the most part, I guess. I may or may
Nice.
not stream next Sunday. I don't know yet. I don't know if something's gonna come up, but usually I am all over the place during the holidays because it's not just Christmas, it is birthday season for certain people in my family, so.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm a January birthday, so
Ah, January baby.
yep,
Nice.
yep. So I get all
Nice.
the after holiday discounted stuff. So it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's always fun, ain't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just I get people that are also worn out from New Year's though too, so it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I feel that, especially because some of my family members they always talk about how they'd always get back in the day that I always get like one toy that goes for both Christmas and birthday because
Yep,
they're so close together. They're like, no, we ain't paying that kind of money.
yep, yep. I
I'm
did a
like,
lot of shared gifting with my brother for Christmas as well.
yeah, it's like, ooh, sucks to suck.
Yeah.
But
See, and he got it lucky because he's like right after Halloween.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he would get all like the discounted candy and stuff.
Oh,
Mine
that's
didn't really luck out until I was 21. Then I get all the discounted liquor.
oh nice. Hey, I'll take that. Hey, I'm a chocoholic, so me being an October baby, I love the hell out of it. I love it. Candy all day, every day makes me endlessly happy. Oh man. But
Oh,
so we wanted to talk about horror stuff and the Xmas season. I know that's some people find that a little bit taboo because why would Christmas be scary? You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot that goes on that is actually, especially if you're a horror like fanatic, it
Yeah.
can be quite enjoyable.
Or it can be just really gaudy. Like I know people are saying a lot of good things about Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
I haven't seen it yet, but the new slasher Thanksgiving flick.
I've heard about it. I've not seen it myself.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. That not so much
Yeah,
Christmas, but
see, I'm an anthology like uh, file, I guess you could call it.
oh,
And
so you
as
like
far as
stuff
like, I
like Tales of the
love.
Crypt and
Oh God, yes, yeah, and I love a lot
nice.
of it. Like, there's so many like small anthologies out there that a lot of people do not know about.
I wouldn't be
So
surprised.
like there's that I think I sent it over to you, that December,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an anthology. They cover what is it, 25 different stories in that thing,
How long
and
it?
they're
Like, how
all
many minutes is it? Like, is it? It's a
it's
movie or
like
is it
an
a series?
it's a movie, and I
Oh,
think it's like an hour and a half runtime or so.
it's like 5 minutes
But it's
a,
just,
a story.
yeah, but they're all fantastic. It's
Huh?
all really well linked together. It's kind of put together like you know those advent calendars,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where you get the little chocolates and they kind of did it like that. And so each little story is kind of like its own object in this room that the camera kind of pans to, and then it goes into the story.
Interesting.
It's really, really, really well done. There's a lot of funny things in there too, which people don't really expect, I guess.
Huh. I mean, you wouldn't expect a whole lot of like cohesive storytelling in a matter of like an hour and a half when there's 20 plus stories to tell.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I wouldn't say it's really like cohesive. Like there's a whole overarching um tie like there is with some things, but it definitely is. It's definitely well put together. Like it's just a bunch of small stories. The tie being Christmas related.
oh, nice.
So there's one like that's based on like a robbery, and it's basically kind of like a double agent style robbery gone wrong with people killing Santa Clauses and police. There's another one where it's kind of funny. It was a person that was in like hospital, like hospice type care, and they get sick and they start to flatline. Well, it's on Christmas Eve or whatever, and there's like the group of caroler kids outside singing, and when they hear the singing, suddenly the person comes back to life, right? So they quick hustle this group of like carolers into the room to perpetually sing to keep this person alive. And it just shows them like growing older and slowly dying off and everything else, and it's kind of funny the way it's done.
That's actually pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a great underrated movie. Totally recommend it.
Huh. I'll have to take a look into it. I'm so busy, man. It is ridiculous with trying to get all this stuff put together and adulting. And adulting takes a lot of energy. Yeah. Oh, lordy. Man. But I think I find it very interesting how horror movies have changed over the years, especially with Christmas horror movies, because when I went and looked into this stuff, I pulled up a list of all of the holiday movies throughout the years. And even though, like, the first one came out in 1901, 1901 was the first Christmas-themed horror movie.
Really?
Yep.
What was it?
Scrooge or Marley's Ghost. It was basically one of the first adaptations in film for Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Which, that makes sense. I mean, not that I've ever been scared about any of the Christmas adaptations or any of the adaptations in general of Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see why back then it would be scary. Mostly because film was so new. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
If I was somebody back in the day, I would probably be terrified of that because you don't understand it completely yet.
Well, you know that song, what is it? Most Wonderful Time of the Year?
Mm-hmm.
If you ever really like listen to the lyrics in there, they talk about telling scary ghost stories.
Yeah.
And the only one I could ever think of was the Charles Dickens Scrooge, old Marley's Ghost thing. And I was like, wow, so it's kind of had a tie to horror as long as we know and we don't even realize it.
Yeah. It's fascinating. But like, even though that was like the first Christmas horror movie, it didn't actually start becoming a thing until the 70s.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the earlier ones was probably Black Christmas.
Well,
because I know that was a remake initially.
No.
No?
Black Christmas wasn't a remake. It's been remade, but the first one came out in 1974. That was like...
Okay.
There were a lot of like horror movies that happened, or the story happened during the time of Christmas, but they didn't actually become like Christmas horror movies until like 1972.
Okay.
Black Christmas is 1974, but
okay.
Yeah, there's like, I think the first like really big one in the 70s was called Whoever Slew Auntie Roo.
Okay.
It was really, I went and looked into it. It's a weird concept. I watched just like little clips of it in the trailer that they have on IMDb. But
okay.
Basically it's about an old lady or an older lady who is obsessed with her deceased child. Like, her baby daughter died as like a kid, and she kept it mummified in the attic. Okay, and then she becomes obsessed with a little girl that she meets at a Christmas party that she puts together. And the little girl reminds her of how she thought her daughter would be, from what I could tell. And she like kidnaps the kid and like keeps her tied up in her basement or something.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
And somebody's just trying to get her out of there. So it's definitely interesting to say the least. But that's the first like really big one where the boom started. And after that, it's been pretty like typical. But yeah, Black Christmas is the one that I think of.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites because it's just so out there and it's so screwed up.
Well,
But
there's a funny thing. Like, I don't know if like a lot of audiences maybe seen like those older horror movies. There's a lot of like they were kind of like secondary films at the drive-ins and stuff, or like they would have like the double features. And
yeah.
so they're kind of like more independent films. And like what is it? Oh god, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh God.
There's there's a character in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think 3, that was like the brother.
Mm-hmm.
Um it impressed upon a certain person so much that they integrated it into their horror movie decades later when they made one. And that person was Rob Zombie. And that was House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, it's, some of these things are just so weird and so out there, but they make their impression through that. And so like, you know, Black Christmas, it's just so weird. And so like it's galling almost in a way, but that galling sticks with you, and that
It
makes a great
does.
story.
I think it's like it for me. That is the first horror movie that I can recall that really took away the innocence of Christmas and the spirit of Christmas. It's supposed to be so joyful, so happy and exciting, and it's just a warm time to be with your family and friends. Throwing blood all over that and just throwing some incest stuff in there, and
Yep.
yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa,
There was no
what am I
holding back
watching?
in the
Yeah.
70s.
No, there wasn't, because there was taboos, and they played upon those a lot more than we probably do now, or at least in a different way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's so much stuff you get away with back then that you don't get away with now, but
Yeah,
still
I mean, look
so
at
much
Green
fun.
Inferno.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
they got in major trouble with that one.
Major trouble is putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Putting it very lightly. There are other taboos that we play with now that we can get, you know, we can really get into and we can kind of play around with, but some of it you just can't anymore, which is kind of sad, because the point of horror is to bring out a visceral feeling from you.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make you question yourself and the way you view the world.
Yeah.
It's what it's meant to do, and taking that away to a certain extent, I can understand with like certain movies, like say Cannibal Holocaust, that was probably going a little bit way too far. But playing with the boundaries is what you're supposed to do with those kind of movies.
Yeah. Exactly. I want to get your opinion on 2 different things.
Sure.
So, first off, what's your opinion on jump scares? Horror movies.
I think they're good if they are not overdone.
Okay.
Because there are certain cases that I really like it where they will
Like the tension building.
I like when the tension builds in a way where you're not totally expecting it to happen.
Okay.
I don't too much like films that play upon it's obvious for being obvious. Yeah. Like when you start hearing the music change, you're like, great, I know what's gonna happen now.
Yep.
You've completely lost the magic of this moment. I don't like jump scares for the sake of jump scares. I like when they work well with what they're trying to portray, and I like when they aren't excessively used. Like if your horror is basically all jump scares,
yeah,
you can just go. Like, I'm not into this.
Yeah, I feel like there's great jump scares. Like, you know, oh god, probably one of the best jump scares I can think of off the top of my head would be Halloween when she's hiding in the closet.
Yes. Halloween is
right through.
So good.
Like that's a good tension building jump scare. Another good one like recent times, I'm sorry, but The Conjuring with the hand clap.
Yeah.
That was just so well done and so unexpected that it's impressionable. End of Blair Witch, you know, that's another one.
Blair Witch is a fascinating case in of itself when it comes to horror and how it completely changed how we viewed it and how we went about portraying it.
Yep. Were you around back then when the whole thing came out?
I was very young.
Okay, me too, but I remember it. I remember it making an impression.
I remember people talking about it, but I never watched it until I was probably in my 20s.
See,
I
I
didn't
watched it.
really get into horror until like the last 5 or so years.
Yeah, I've probably been a little bit longer than that. I've I've always liked to watch horror more since high school because I went through like some film classes in high school, so
Mm,
then I got to understand and appreciate it a little more. And that's when it took it from being just like I don't like scary movies to like understanding what they're doing.
yeah.
But I just remember during that time because I was kind of like that age, like where it was enough that I was on the internet and stealing music and everything that a young kid does.
Yeah, yeah.
And um, I remember like all the websites and everything, and like how this thing was portrayed as being real, and it was
Yeah.
just so like there was a lot of like visceral tension around that people don't understand that's been lost because the movie now, like you watch it now out of context, it's you lose all the fact of like there used to be websites and pages and legal documents that looked like they were real and everything that went with this that sold the story
Yeah.
and made it just that much scarier.
They were ahead of their time when it came to marketability and building like a sort of lore around the movie.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's something you can't necessarily get away with anymore today either because we're more advanced. We understand the internet more. We know how this stuff works. We know how to look it up. Everything is so at your fingertips that
Yeah,
it's
it's
extremely difficult to try to pull
pass
that
that
off
off.
now.
Yep. So I guess my other question for you would be, relating back specifically, I guess, with the holiday stuff, I'm sure you
Hmm.
see it a lot. What is your thoughts on like the parody horror or comedy horror?
It depends. Um,
Okay.
I like, cause see, my when it comes to parody and jokes, a lot of where my humor comes from can be related to like Monty Python.
Okay.
So I do enjoy the parody to a certain extent when it's witty and it has some sort of thought to it. If it's just fart joke, sex
Yeah.
joke, fart joke,
Or dumb character kind of thing.
yeah, it loses its charm. Like I think my best example of that stuff is with Scary Movie.
Okay.
I love Scary Movie 1 through like 3. 2 being my
Yep.
favorite of the
Yep.
group. Those were the kind of where they could play along with the fart jokes and interlay it with things that you go, oh, look, I get it. I get where you're bringing this from. Um, so that's where I'm at. Like I like the parody to a certain extent, but if it is just like a thoughtless kind of cash grab parody, I have no interest in it.
Yeah. So you would probably like more like what is it? Evil Dead, Army of Darkness kind of stuff.
Evil Dead 2 is my favorite horror movie of all time.
Okay. And so have you ever watched Dale and Tucker versus Evil?
I've heard about it. I've watched people review it. I have not watched it myself.
I have watched that movie, and I'm not kidding you, probably about 6 times.
I've heard that it is
It
very, very good.
it is very good. It takes that horror comedy and like works it well
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much innocence with it that is hilarious. And it's just done in a way that like when you get to scary movie and there's a lot of parody
Mm-hmm.
on playing on themes like oh, what's another good one? Oh, is it Cabin in the
Cabin in the
Woods?
Woods is the one where they kind of do the tropes and they're trying to. They got
Yeah,
all the
they
horror
parody like
movie.
every trope. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they kind of took that concept and did it in a totally different and unique way, and I love it.
Yeah, where they turn it on its
Where,
head, where the
yep,
people around them are actually the bad guys, and the bad guys in the view of everybody else are actually the good guys. It's
oh yeah,
the
yeah,
complete
and
flip.
there's a lot of accidental things that
Yeah.
happen, and it's just it's great. It's great in how it's done, and it actually has enough potential that it could come out with a sequel, and I'd watch it. I mean, I think if they had the same cast and everything, as far as like who was alive at the end, um, I would definitely watch it. Like they really did a great job with it.
Another good example that Squatch brings up is Shaun of the Dead. That's another really good
Yes.
one that I enjoy. That's the kind of
Yep.
humor parody that I love, where it's playing
That's got a lot
on
of that
yeah, it's playing on the
dry
tropes of
British
everything,
humor. Yep.
but it's not like overtly just haha funny stupid like fourth grader humor.
Yeah, because like when you get into like our topic that we're talking about today, and you look at it like you've got good ones like Krampus.
Oh god,
I'm
the
trying to
Krampus
think.
movies.
There's
Silent
yeah,
Night, any of the Silent Night,
yep.
because there's like let me look at this. There's first one came out in 1972 with Silent Night Bloody Night. There was part 2. No, there was Silent Night Deadly Night in 84, part 2 in 87, part 3 in 89, part 4 and 5 and 90 and 91. It just goes on and on and on. They had one recently too.
Yeah, I think they had like remade it and everything at one point.
Yeah, they did. They did another one I think like this year. I think the next one that's there was another one on the list that's coming out that I'm really not interested in. But Terrifier 2 apparently is going to be Christmassy and holiday-y when it 3 Terrifier 3 when it comes out next year is going to be Christmassy.
I was kind of disappointed with the second one.
I have not watched any of them besides some clips that my husband has showed me and things he's relayed to me because he really loves like the gross out kind of horror.
Gore horror, yep.
Yeah, like the gratuitous gore for the sake of like there's like not necessarily a story behind it.
Yep.
I like it when it's interlaid with stuff. I like Evil Dead 2 is the encapsulation of the kind of like horror that I really love. Where it's got the humor in it. It has a story to it that works. It has the violence in it and the slight nudity that's a little bit risque, but it's not so bad that you're just disgusted the entire time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, the parody movies that I was talking about that are like I don't know how you could seriously watch them. Like I had to look through like Gingerbread Man.
Oh, Gingerbread Man is
Frost.
hysterical. The Dead Man movies are so fucking dumb, and they are like it's so dumb that you have to laugh.
Yeah, see, like those, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they belong in their own like horror category.
They are. They do. But I'm entertained enough by them that I just kind of giggle. I mean, and yeah. Gary Busey is just fucking dumb. It's just fucking funny. Like
he really is.
He doesn't even. He's one of those people that is just effortlessly funny, and you can't not laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got like that like crazy effect to him too. Yeah, it's just like so genuine. Like you can't emulate that.
You can't tell if he's actually. Yeah, you can't tell if he's actually like a little bit off his rocker or not. You're just kind of like, what is happening? What the fuck is going on? Where am I? Who am I? What am I? What is this place?
The fuck am I watching kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it gets worse every other movie. Like, I know I have this on the list here. Like there's Ginger Dead Man, the first one, there's Ginger Dead Man 2, Passion of the Crust.
Yep.
Ginger Dead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver.
See, I like movies that know what they are. Like, if you're self-aware to know enough, like, it's different, than someone, like, actually trying to be genuinely make a horror movie, and it's just awful.
Yeah, hold on, pause. The last one that was on the list is Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
Oh, the Evil Bong. Oh my god, those movies are so dumb.
They are so dumb, and I short plug. My buddy, my good friend, Trivial Theater, has covered all the Ginger Dead Man movies, if I'm not mistaken, on her channel. If you if you've not seen Trivial Theater's coverage of these, go watch it. She's funny. I had a good time working with her, and I don't think I could have gotten through Troll 2 without watching it with her. So, you've her to thank for that.
That first movie was so amazing. Troll One.
I wouldn't say it's
I
amazing.
I liked it from
It's
being like a
something.
foreign horror film. I thought it was a pretty cool concept.
It's a cool
It
concept, but it's definitely something. I
I
know.
feel
I,
like
I I reviewed it and it was hard to review. I had a hard time.
European horror is just so different though. Like have you ever watched
Yeah,
there's the an Italian one
yeah. Giallo films are
it's
great.
yeah, it's good lord, a classic horror movie or something like that is what it's called. And it's kind of like a loop type situation. It's very uniquely done. Let me say that. Like if you're not used to foreign horror, I would not or foreign films in general, like High Tension, I can think of as one of those horror films that like I feel like a lot of people didn't get. And
Yeah,
like you got to rewatch it in order to really get it, and it's creepier when you understand the ending and rewatch it.
yeah. And by the way, fuck you for that, Mike. I know you're the one that requested that. Fuck you for that. I suffered. I suffered through that movie for you, for the content. I haven't done it in a
So I
while because a lot of the people that become members they've already done their requests or whatnot. Like the newer people, just I'll be like, "Hey, what do you want me to do?" And they don't give me a response. I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll just
Yep.
keep doing what I'm doing then."
Oh man. So what do you think about like some of these other like I guess I don't know how to categorize them like Gremlins and like Nightmare Before Christmas. How do you see those as like fitting in the horror holiday genre?
I think they both fit in their own sort of way. Gremlins, yeah, it's absolutely a Christmas movie. It's absolutely a horror movie. And it revolutionized the concept of little critter horror, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it for that. With Nightmare Before Christmas, I like in the same way that a lot of other movies we've mentioned have. It subverts expectations in a way where it takes two different holidays that are completely opposite. One scaring the living crap out of each other just because you can, and the other
Yep.
being good and genuine, and then flipping it. I love that.
Yep.
I also love the fact that the lead singer of Oingo Boingo wrote all the songs because I love Oingo Boingo. I grew up on that stuff. So
I think like the God, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Gremlins I like because it's really a story that could have happened at any point in time of the year,
yeah.
but being in Christmas, it helped to amplify the story a little bit
Yeah.
because then you have they can't get wet and
Mhm.
snow.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if a lot of people like really caught that when I was like I didn't catch it the first time I watched it. I'm like, "Oh god. Like they're surrounded by snow. Like this is inevitably going to go bad."
Yeah.
So it's kind of I appreciate that in a totally different light, like the critter horror, like you're talking about. Like I appreciate that on the same level I appreciate the Leprechaun movies.
God, I love the Leprechaun movies. I love Warwick Davis. I love that man
Yes,
so much. It is not the same
yes.
without him. Holy crap.
Um, so like I appreciate those two in that space. Like the Nightmare Before Christmas, I've always felt like it was its own little outlier with
It
how it did things.
is.
Because like it fits in all of the categories. It could be a Halloween movie, it could be a Christmas movie, it could be a watch anytime during the year because it's a musical. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it fits so many different generations, and then the story is just so unique about like I want to capture someone not to hurt them but to become like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just building off that whole premise and just everything that Jack tries to do good goes bad, and it's just I don't know. I feel like that always has been its own category. I can't think of anything else that really relates to it
It's one of those
other than
movies
going
that is transcendent
yes.
because it can be many things, but you can't put it into one specific box because it is just so different from everything we could have possibly been used to.
Yep.
I
Like the
also
only
was a
other
hot
one.
topic thought as a kid, so
See, I was the same here. So, oh man, I feel like if, and it's obviously coming from the same director, but Edward Scissorhands, I feel like fits in the same category.
Yeah.
You know, just with the storyline and how everything goes, and it's got like a Christmas aspect to it that I would throw it in with the holiday movie.
Could, yeah. I think when I think of holiday movies, I think about does it play enough, and this kind of goes to what you were talking about with Gremlins and with Night Before Christmas. Does it just take place during the holidays, or does the holidays actually play a part in the movie and the story itself? Because there are lots of movies that I wrote down that were take place during the Christmas time, but weren't Christmas horror movies. Like, it had absolutely nothing to do with the storyline.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call it a Christmas horror movie. It's a horror movie that takes place during Christmas.
Yep. It's a winter horror more than anything.
Yeah, it's not really a Christmas horror movie. So I would think in that same vein as Edward Scissorhands, where it might take place during the holiday kind of season, but not necessarily a Christmas horror movie.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to look back because I know I sent you the one. The Utah cabin murders. Did you look into that at all?
I looked into it. I watched a little bit of clips on it, but mind it kind of like, from what I could gather, it was I couldn't totally tell if it was a Christmas horror movie or if it was just a horror movie that took place during Christmas.
So the premise is, and it's based on a true story. It's a true crime movie. These guys were going out because it was Christmas. They were up in the mountains going to these cabins to rob them. Because they figured people wouldn't be up there. So it's, not typical for people to be in the cabins on Christmas. So they were going through these cabins, robbing and stealing different things to hawk for money later. And they come across people in the cabin. And it becomes this torture story, basically, where people do get killed. So it is and it isn't. And that's where I kind of wanted to see your perspective on it if you looked into it. I feel like it is a Christmas story movie. Like, it is a Christmas horror movie. Because without the Christmas aspect of it, none of this stuff would have happened.
Well,
These people were there because of Christmas.
Well, it could also, you could say that it's a winter horror movie in the same,
Yep.
because even though it takes place, it's something to do with when they go up there. It's not in the same vein as Night Before Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night, those kind of movies where like the holiday in of itself plays a big part in it, and it features heavily. So from what I've seen and what you've kind of explained a little bit more of, I would still put it in the category of a winter movie. I guess that's what we're going to call that for the purposes of the stream. I would say it's more of a winter movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Not necessarily a Christmas horror movie. Just because, they were there because of the time, but if it was any time during winter itself, people probably wouldn't have been up there anyway.
So there's one creepy detail to this that the movie doesn't cover, but YouTube does.
Oh.
And it's there is an actual movie out there that you can find where the killers are in one of the homes unwrapping presents on film.
I've heard about this,
for the victims, and it's just creepy. It's a level of creepy and unnerving that cannot be accomplished by film, just knowing that these people actually went out and did heinous things.
Yeah, it's the same kind of... I think that's why I love horror movies and true crime in a way, because you can kind of... Whereas with a horror movie, it's like, oh, it's a movie. People don't really do that. But then you look at the true crime aspect of things and you go, oh, well, shit. They actually do this stuff, and it puts a level of like fear on it that a horror movie just can't totally give you.
Yep.
Agreed. So yeah, stuff like that is like uncanny valley levels of what the fuckery.
Yep.
Is how I can best explain it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, it's so unnerving because I never knew about the other part until after I watched the movie, and it just came up in one of like I was watching, one of those people covering like weird things on YouTube.
Yeah.
and it came up in one of the lineups, and I'm like, no way. And I was like, wait, there's a movie I watched based on this. And it just tied everything together, and I'm like, oh, this is so freaking creepy.
Yeah. It that's kind of the example of horror movies where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. That's why I like when it's the based on the true story kind of movies
Yep.
when it comes to horror, or like some that are not all of them necessarily, because a lot of them are just there's no fucking way that's true. There's no
Yep.
way. Mostly like the supernatural horror ones that are based on a true story. Yeah, like The Conjuring and stuff like that. Like no. But the ones where it is actually plausible and then you see what it's attached to, you're like, I don't think I can watch this the same way anymore.
Yeah, and to answer chat, I think it might have been one of Nick Crawley's videos.
Yeah, Nick Crowley does a lot of the dark side of the internet
Yeah.
videos and stuff like that. I think that has come up in one of those, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because there's one that I've been looking into that I think came up in one of those, and it might have been a Nick Crawley video as well. That was a true crime thing that is just so weird, and it relates to me on a different level than probably most people. It's about a person who goes missing. Up in they find its vehicle at the end of like this 4 hour long drive logging trail up in Canada. Like it takes from the start to the end 4 hours to get to where they found his vehicle. And you have to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle to even get there. It was this truck and all this, and then like they find stuff related to like this guy going missing and then potentially another person going missing. But the strange thing is that the vehicle was burnt out, right? So like that's not uncommon with any true crime,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The steering column's missing.
That's a little sussy baka.
And they never found it.
Yeah, that's very sussy baka.
And this has been driving me nuts from an automotive standpoint because I'm like, I know the tools that you need to pull that apart. And I'm like, and they never even found any tools. And I'm like, how?
That
How? Like, you can't, like, how?
That's some kind of stuff where people were either really wanted somebody to disappear or that somebody really wanted to disappear.
Yeah. And it's, there's a whole lot of police interference on this one.
Yeah.
Because of the distance and the time to get to the trail. The people that found it took pictures of everything because they're like, we're taking pictures because we don't want to be tagged to any of this.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to show, like, what was here when we found it.
Yeah.
And so they waited at the end of the road for the police to show up. So it took them 4 hours to get to the end of the road, and the police show up.
Mm-hmm.
They let them know, and they don't go up there till the next day. Obviously, because of the time up and back, you're talking 8 hours.
Yeah.
And so in that time frame, things go missing, and things get damaged.
Yeah.
And like nobody's seen anybody come up or down this trail that I know of. And so I'm really looking into that one. It's going to be kind of a crazy story if I can find more information.
Yeah, it sounds pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain. The only way I can explain it is if somebody really wanted somebody to disappear, or if somebody really just wanted to disappear. That's the only way I could really explain something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, there's so many weird like aspects to it, like you know, in the snow. Again, it takes place in winter. That's where it's on my mind. It takes place up in Canada in the winter, and there's snow, and so there's this one patch of blood, like 50 to 75 foot away from the vehicle, and like they never tied anything together.
Where in Canada is this, by the way?
I'd have to look. Give me just a second.
Squatchin is very curious as our resident Canadian. Eh?
I'd have to let me look really quick because I've got it saved in my playlist. I know that. But yeah, it's just a creepy story.
That sounds very creepy. Very, like, out there and weird kind of creepy.
Yeah. And it's just, I love it because there's no real explanation for it. So, like, you're kind of left to, like, come up with your own explanation.
Yeah.
Where is my... Why you do this to me, YouTube?
Yes, watching. Eh? Oh, yeah, bud. See, when I do Canadian accents, I think of somebody who's absolutely not fucking Canadian. It makes me laugh. That I have to refer to that and refer to the speech patterns to even get close. Tell me about it. Yeah. I can see Russia from my backyard, don't you know?
That sounds a little more Minnesotan.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure everybody else knows that reference and knows where I get that from, and that's literally how I make the connection with how Canadians speak, or at least some of them.
Fargo.
Yep. I can't really do the Quebecois kind of.
Oh, the French Canadian.
I can't do that, but
YouTube is so letting me down. I'm trying to find
the closest I can do is tabarnak. It's the closest I can get to that, and that's probably gonna make Squatchy laugh her ass off. Yeah, Minnesota is basically like Canada adjacent. It is literally Canada. It is literally Canada, just not Canada. So dumb. Minnesota.
Lake City Quiet Hills.
Oh man.
Here it is. The Pemberton incident. I could maybe.
Pemberton. Ohio is not Canadian adjacent. It's SCP. It's an SCP.
I sent it in the DM if you want to throw it in your chat.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat. This is for you, Squatch. Go have fun. Go watch that later after the stream. Have fun. Have a good time. Because we'll be here for like another hour or so and shoot the shit, and maybe, just maybe, if y'all want to come in and talk and shoot the shit with us, we'll bring you people in. We'd have to go to my server for that, but
I can do that. Oh man, yeah, no, I've got some crazy stories that I've been looking into. I don't know. I'm talking about true crime. There's a whole true crime thing that I just covered with my videos, and it's about a wool festival, like yarn and wool and people like that.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, very interesting. There's so many different dramas and weird things out there.
The world is a weird place in general.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, my eyes went wide. I was like, just putting it lightly. It's putting it very lightly. I can't just. K-Huck and Maggot, I think it was them that asked me the question what the weirdest thing I've ever seen online or most disturbing thing I've ever seen online is, and I'm like, I'm not gonna answer that. I plead the fifth. I can't answer that. I will forever damage the internet and all the brains of the beautiful people that watch me. Let's not do that.
Yeah, see,
let's not go there.
I could tell you basically initials of things. I can say like CNJ stuff. And I've watched a lot of cartel things, and yeah, there's some very scary stuff out there. Enough that it was like I was like really trepidatious about going to Mexico for a cruise.
Yeah. But
oh
man,
I'm trying to see like if there's any other like weird horror. I want to look up. So I know there was a couple other anthologies.
There's a lot of them. Like the first one that had an anthology with something Christmassy in it was in 1972 with Tales of the Crypt.
Yeah. I remember watching that. Was that black and white or was that colored? I think it's got some black
color,
and white.
Yeah. It's got some black and white and some color, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got the mix, but I remember watching that and I was like, God, this has got such a weird creep vibe to it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that Christmas story that they had in there. That if that could be redone more recent but keep the same vibe,
yeah,
I would love it.
See, the thing that I really love about like Christmas horror is that it could be so serious and then it can just be so freaking hokey.
Yeah.
Like,
and super goofy stuff.
You've got stuff like Black Christmas and any of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies that are kind of weird. But then you got stuff like, oh, I don't know, elves or Trancers or Treevenge or the Ginger Dead Man series, where it's just like, and in all seriousness, the Krampus movies, none of them are that good. There's 3 of them within like a 3-year period.
Yeah,
4 within a 4-year period. None of them are really good.
the one I'm looking for, I can't remember the name of it. Oh my god, I can't spell.
I can't either. English is hard.
Yeah.
I mess it up
This one,
all the time on.
Holidays. Holidays that came out in 2016. That
Yep.
was one that I watched recently. That's got some interesting tales to it.
It's on the list. Yeah, where it has like a different story for every holiday.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's not like I watched it, but the fact that there's like a movie for each holiday, that's a super interesting concept.
I watched it. The thing that they do for Christmas in that one, I think, is a Krampus-based thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the monster, the Krampus character, is kind of goofy looking. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
it was built up very well, and then it was a hard letdown.
Oh, I hate when they do that stuff. Cause see, I like monster flicks where they don't really show you the monster. I love when it's like it's ambiguous the entire time. The unknown is what is so unsettling, and I hate when most movies that show that start off that way and then like at the very end show you the creature. It is 99.9% of the time a massive letdown, and they massively fail. The only time it works is when they are it's like one of those parody ones where they're purposefully trying to put something really bad out there, and it's dumb.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't care for that. It's like, dude, just leave it ambiguous.
The more ambiguous it is, the better. Like,
Oh,
that's
God,
where
yeah.
I like. Okay, so my big thing, aside from the anthology stuff, I love audio horror, and that's becoming more and more and more of a thing. So,
Yeah.
you got like Midsummer and a couple other different ones where they're using like white noise to create unsettling effects, and I think that is a genius way to do things.
It is because music elicits as much of an emotional reaction as visuals do. So when you mix them both properly and you do them both properly, it is, oh boy, you are shitting your pants.
Yeah.
There's no way out of it. You are shitting your pants.
Yeah, like what is it? Is it Midsummer, that the one with the girl with her head out the window?
No, that's what was it? Hereditary?
Hereditary?
Yeah.
Hereditary. Yeah. So like Hereditary used a little bit of that audio horror with building up to that scene. And they did it so well that when the event happens, it's a jump scare in itself. And I loved the way that they did that, because it made it more unsettling when like he's stopping the car afterwards, realizing what occurred. And just, I don't know. I think that was probably one of the best, more recent jump scares that I could think of.
Yeah, I like it when you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
Like, I like it when it's used properly.
Yep. Yeah, and I feel like that was like really, really, really a great use of it, because like you had all the genuine articles there. Like, you know how like you get the really weird tropes of like, let's go hide in the shed with all the things that could kill us dangling from the ceiling. They'll never find us.
It's like, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch.
Versus like that was like, oh my god, anaphylactic like shock, like throat closing up, sticking her head out the window for air, and then it happens. And you're like
oh. The only other thing that I can like bring that back to is Pet Sematary.
Oh, yeah.
Pet Sematary is another really good.
That traumatized me as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
My dad had me watch that at like age 5, and watching the kid like run out on the road. Yeah, that bothered me. That and Child's Play.
Child's Play always made me laugh, but I think it gets me more now as an adult, where I'm like, I'm in that age where it's I have a family, I have kids, and then thinking about that one moment where you're not paying attention enough to the kid, and the kid goes into a dangerous situation and gone. And not only that, you bring your kid back somehow, it's not even your kid anymore. Yeah. It's that whole weird... It is
trauma.
Yeah, it's not just a trauma thing, but it's that It's a demon wearing the face of one of your loved ones.
Yep. Yeah, there's I think related to holiday movies. I don't know. I've had it on my list for a while. I think it is related. I have to look. It's I Trapped the Devil. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
It's a fairly new one. It's here, I'll just send you a quick IMDb on it.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that.
This really plays on a lot of the horror tropes and exactly what you're talking about. So it's an individual that captures someone that is possessed, and then their brother comes over for the holidays, and it's one of the IFC midnight films that you'll see. So IFC Midnight has got some really good films. It's also got some really atrocious films. But he trapped the devil, and it's all about his brother trying to figure out what's going on and why he has this person tied up in the basement, and they are actually Satan. And
Yeah.
convinced that the brother is wrong, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it says the story is Christmas is supposed to be a time for peace and joyful family reunions. But when Matt and his wife Karen show up unannounced at the home of his estranged brother Steve to celebrate the holidays, they are instead greeted with a horrifying surprise. Trapped in the basement is a man, but not just any man. Steve believes that his hostage is none other than the devil himself.
And yeah, I think that's kind of a unique. It's kind of plays into. Have you ever seen the movie Elevator?
It's another one I've heard of, but I haven't seen.
That one has basically the main character is revealed to you, and you see them the entire time, but you don't expect it. So the main antagonist is there the entire time, but you don't expect it. And it's basically people trapped in an elevator. I believe that's also holiday based, because the building shuts down and they get trapped and stuck in this elevator.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get people out, and it's taking a long time because it's the holidays and all this. And people start dying and stuff, so it kind of becomes interesting because they all were there for a reason, and they're all dying for a reason. So it was kind of an interesting plot. I really, really enjoy it.
Sounds like an interesting plot. I'm still so behind because, like I said, I didn't really get into horror movies until the last 5 or so years. I loved horror games and stuff like that, but I am so new in comparison to most people to horror movies because I just was a total bitch as a kid. And now I have a little bit of balls.
Yeah, and look at you got a whole horror channel and everything.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of what I've enjoyed as of late is not necessarily horror movies, it's part of it, but analog horror and horror series that I find through YouTube or ARGs. That stuff is fun. Holy shit.
I enjoy it, but it's so hard for me to discern I've slowly gotten into understanding what to look for and how to look for things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a big leap in horror that people don't understand. You got to put effort into the horror to get more out of it.
Yeah, you have to actually put some thought into it. If it's cheap reaction kind of stuff, it's not fun.
No. What is it? Mystery Meat Pit? Is that it? I'm trying to think. I think it's Mystery Meat Pit, where they have basically set this whole thing up as a national park, and it literally has a legit website and everything to it.
Huh.
And I've shown it on my channel before. Trying to look it up. Mystery Flesh Pit. That is quite the horror if you want to look into it. Your channel may very, very well enjoy that if they don't know about it. This place has been set up you want to talk about a deep horror timeline and storyline. I believe there's been video games released about this.
So this is what's called an ARG, alternate reality game.
Yep.
So yeah, this is something that I would usually cover. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's there's so much involved with that story that beyond just YouTube videos, as you can see with the website, and the way
Yeah.
they put that website together is quality. I think there was another, the other one would be like This House Is Not Real.
I've heard of that
I
one.
think is
I've heard
Yeah,
that
I
one.
believe that one has a whole. Somebody did a deep dive, and there's a whole website involved with that where you can get like security passwords and logins and look at different logs and stuff like that, and images and files, and there's so much. And it's like, how do you guys figure this out? Because they'll be like, oh yeah, there was a QR code in this one cutscene, and this led to this page, and then we figured this out through hexadecimal like conversion, and then we found it was a password, and then we found out that the website was shown in the video.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
I love horror, but like this is a lot of work for that scare.
Yeah, yeah. Like putting an effort into it. I think like the biggest comparisons to that stuff that I can think of is when I did a big coverage of the main Slenderman.
Okay.
You could call it analog horrors. You could call it. It's more like alternate reality games. Is more what they are, but they vary in quality so much.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's
There are some fantastic ones, like Kane Pixels puts out just fantastic stuff.
Oh
with
god,
Backrooms.
yeah. Backrooms is amazing.
This new story is awesome.
I haven't gotten to it yet, but I plan on it.
It's so awesome.
I plan on it. One of my favorite analog horror series that I've seen is Monument Mythos, and I've covered that in detail.
Okay.
I still got some more stuff that I need to cover with it because they've had other things come out. But the amount of work that one guy is putting into
that whole thing is monumental.
Oh, yeah. Like,
yep.
It is some of the most interesting concepts I've seen. It's so intricately woven. Me doing a freaking timeline of seasons 1 and 2 of that series was a bitch because there's so much out there, and some of it just doesn't make sense, and some of it's so confusing that you can't. It's confusing enough that I got something so wrong, and then I sent my work to somebody who's extremely well involved and deep in that lore and that community, and they didn't even catch it because it's so intricate and there's so much going on. And everybody, when I did that, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna update it for season 3 and the Nixon verse and all that stuff." I'm like, "Oh no," because then it's gonna get way more confusing. Like, no, there's like
well, and then some of these guys like purposely, guys, girls, whatever, but some of these people like purposely wove in like red herrings too.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of red herrings in these people are not real, that people thought were things, and they're like, no, that we thought of an idea and we didn't even run with it. And so there's just like a dead-ended thing in there that like nobody understands, and then you got the whole audience is just questioning this, and it's like, no, the story's over here.
So what's this? Is it This Place Is Not Real?
This House Is Not Real, I think is the name of it.
I have to look into that because I'm interested.
That one had a lot of good stuff, because I think that's the security cam one with the fading through the floor.
This House Is Not Real. I'm so curious now. I'm so fascinated. I need to find this. If you have something on that, send it to me. But like I'm definitely, because I can't find anything that looks like an ARG that's or analog horror.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah, there's that one. Good Lord, Greylock is another one.
I've just started watching Greylock. I started watching it a couple weeks ago with K-Hawk.
Okay.
And holy crap, that is... I'm trying to bring her back beginning of next month to go through more of it. Holy shit. I'm like, what is going on? What?
There's another good one that I tried to cover that is super, super, super old. you want to talk about like really getting into history of like ARG type stuff?
Oh god, there's probably so many of those that I haven't even gotten to yet. So
Okay.
many.
In the Dark
In the
is the
dark?
name of it. Yep.
Yeah, if you could send me stuff on that, I'll look into it for sure.
Yeah, you and this goes back to some like really, really, really old stuff. The whole playlist is available. I'm trying to get you the playlist so that way you got it.
Yeah, because I have like so much stuff that I have like I've seen as of recent that I'm trying to,
As far as I know, this is the first ARG.
oh,
Like
one of the videos
legitimately
is
the
hidden
first.
too. Ooh.
So, and I mean, look at the age on the videos. Like they're 16,
Yeah.
14 years old. Like,
Yeah, 16 years old.
yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. I would say comparatively to, oh, not Greylock, but what's the other one with like the not real people?
Yeah.
It's like they're like copies or replacement type people. I can't remember it.
Yeah. The Mandela catalog?
Yeah.
I'm
It would be
covering that
kind of
too,
like
yeah.
it would kind of be like the Mandela catalog type
Huh.
stuff. So it's got a good story. It's an older story, so I would relate it to that. Or like Marble Hornets. Like everyone says Marble Hornets is really the first ARG. As far as I know, this is like literally what I could find as being like truly the first ARG. And there's so much detail that they put into this, and it's made to be like a vlog style with this person, and they're doing a vlog about moving from one portion of the UK to another and what their life is, and then these weird things start happening, and it just gets more and more and more and more and more intense until the climax video. And I just don't want to ruin anything. I won't give you any spoilers, but it's a great climax.
Lol, Keklamau. Yeah. Um, I'll look into it for sure. But it does look really good.
Yeah, and I'll try and find the other one there for the this place is not real or this house is not real.
Yeah,
I
if you
can't
could.
remember what it's called. That one was kind of weird because there's like there's a lot more external to it
Uh huh.
that somebody did a deep dive on and found, and it was so worth it.
I will have to look into that for sure because I have like become obsessed with analog horror and ARGs. I'm covering a massive ARG that I never even knew about until a couple months ago. And it's called Cafe and Diner Archives.
Okay, that
Uh,
one I've not heard of.
I never heard of it either until Inside of Mind covered it. I think it
Okay.
was, and nobody's talked about it. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go look at this. And I've been covering it for like several months now, and it
Oh my
basically
God.
it's extremely massive, Jacob. Just oh, but it's basically, oh God, how do I want to explain this? It's basically a group of people start a cafe and diner business where they sell coffee. But they're not really selling coffee. They are capturing cryptids that are
Oh.
in this world considered demons that have escaped into our world, and they need to be captured and sent back.
Huh.
And there's so much that goes into it. There's like multiverse theory and time travel and all of this like weird intermingling involved. And watching it from the beginning or going over it from the beginning and seeing stuff start to kind of unfold. You're like, this is getting deep. This is very, very intricate.
Huh.
And there are receipts upon like there everything is told in the chain of receipts. And
Really?
yeah, it is so fascinating because the only way I could think of There's a whole playlist for this, Jacob. I literally have a playlist with all the coverage that I've done so far. It's gonna take a long time for me to go through it because I'm doing like each video is a receipt chain. I'm doing it in like a chain of receipts because from what I could understand through Inside of Mind's coverage of it, it is so intricate that if I did it any other way, I wouldn't understand what the hell's going on. So
it sounds familiar because there's another one that I was trying to look up while you're talking there. I think it's related to the FNAF Five Nights at Freddy's verse. That's very,
really?
very, very similar. That has something to do with the diner because they even tied the diner into the movie.
Yeah.
When they made the movie, and it's something with a diner, and I can't remember what it is, but I think there's an ARG that's very, very similar, and I wonder if they're tied together.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh, the Walton Files. Yeah, I have that. That's a
complete.
They're not. They're not intermingled. They're not connected. But it's very similar. I think it took the same kind of concept as Five Nights at Freddy's. A lot of them do, because it's a really creepy concept. It's that whole thing of playing on childhood innocence and
the Chuck E. Cheese.
The Chuck E. Cheese lore that everybody is so familiar with. It is very interesting. I'm going to be covering Walton Files after I finish the Mandela catalog, but I'm pretty excited to do that. That's what everybody voted for when I put a community post out. It was like an overwhelming amount of people said do that.
I think I voted for it.
Yeah, everybody was like, do that. I have so many. I have the Walton Files. I have The Oldest View. I've got something called Chainmail Chasers. There's other stuff that I thought was just so weird. One's like a bunch of speed paints of like really creepy art and create things being put together. There's Vita Carnis. I have Liminal Land, which was mentioned in the chat. I've got something called Genesis Apocryphon, Angel Hair, and like the biggest one that I've got as of recent was the Godzilla suit one. The Godzilla suit incident thing. How do you feel about drunk driving accidents? Not good. I'm aware of that being part of the series. I'm aware of that. I just haven't watched the series personally. I'm aware of what happens. It's not good. There's
an awful part with that. Yeah,
it's not good. Drunk driving is bad, okay? Don't drink and drive, okay?
Midwest Angelica is another one. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Midwest Angelica? To be ranked.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be like ranked one of the best horror ARGs.
Ooh. I have it. I think they have it as I have that. I have that on here. Yeah, I do.
You do?
I have it in there. Yep, I'm subscribed to them.
Midwest Angelica plays, if I remember right, that plays a lot similar to the Vita Carnis. And some of the things are actually very similar in how they're done. I don't know if you've ever looked at either of those, but they're fantastically done.
I haven't looked at them, but I have it in the list of... I haven't actually watched it. Like, some of them I have heard of. Like, I knew about Greylock Tapes to a certain extent. I know about the Walton Files. I know about the Mandela Catalog. I'm aware of what Chainmail Chasers is and Ningen. But the stuff like White Door Open, Vita Carnis, Liminal Land, Genesis Apocryphon, Angel Hair, I've not seen anything on that, and I've stayed away from that. Purely because I like giving, like, the pure reaction to some of these.
Yeah, and I understand that. With Liminal Land, I will say my favorite video on the subject, because like it's a coverage of somebody doing something, but they did it in such a unique way that it kind of added to the story, and I really liked it, was Curmudgeon. He did a coverage on Liminal Land, and he did it kind of like conversational with a non-existent second side of the conversation. And it really, really worked out very, very well in how he did it.
I'll have to look into it. You said Curmudgeon?
Yep. And Curmudgeon covers a bunch of different ones. Like there's I can't think of it. It's something like No. I'd have to look at Curmudgeon's page because I can't remember it, but there's another ARG that is like video game based. Or I would say it's ARG / analog horror. I don't know which way it would really fall. It kind of has the analog horror aspect to it.
Uh-huh.
And that it's based off of an old Doom, My House.
I've heard of My House, yeah. I've
Yep.
seen people play it, but I thought about playing it on stream one time, but it just looks so complicated to get put on your computer and get to run. I'm just like, I don't really
MyHouse.wad. Look at Curmudgeon's video. That would probably be a great one. It's a 2-hour video almost.
Yeah.
But he literally covers the whole thing and gives an explanation for the whole thing. Because otherwise you're like, what the hell is this? And
yeah.
I think he did that. I think he also did that kind of like that two-sided character explanation, but it kind of comes in later on in the story where Liminal Land, I believe he did it like from the bat. But both of those were great as far as like taking a complicated story and explaining it and giving you like the real creep factors of it. And the way he did both of them, I cannot recommend enough.
Yeah. I found it. I just gotta figure out how to... I gotta figure out how to do that. But I think we could probably bring people in if they want to join.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna have you do is hop into the general chat. You'll see the voice channels and hop into general. I'll pull you into the show chat. And we'll go from there and see if anybody wants to hop in.
Bitch, I'm adorable.
I am. There we go. All right. So, what we're gonna do, and I don't usually do this, but I feel like I'm feeling very holly jolly and Christmassy. So, if anybody wants to join and talk about this stuff with us, if you're in my Discord server, go and hop into the general chat, the VC chat in my server. And I will drag you in, and we can do maybe a little bit of time of talking back and forth with the peoples, probably for about a half an hour, and then we'll, close it down and enjoy the rest of our weekend because there's not much left of it, and tomorrow we got to adult. So what I'm gonna do is if you're not on the Discord server, which I think everybody in here pretty much is, I've thrown. There's Spectre. Spectre, are you gonna be good?
Listen, I've worked with you long enough to know that I'm not, like, the one thing I know is never to piss you off, so yes.
Good. How you doing, Spectre?
I'm doing okay. Still dealing with stitches in my mouth, but they should dissolve over.
Did you have a good time in Vicodin Land?
Oh God, don't even get me started.
Did you have a good time? Did you have a fun time?
Yeah, I'd say so, but the first 2 days I wanted to fucking die.
Oh, so. I'll bet. I slept a lot. Sleep was my friend.
Yep, that's what I did.
Good.
I could not, I was bedridden, couch-ridden the entire fucking night. Ever since I got home, we did it early in the morning, which kind of made it worse. Because I don't do well in the mornings. So, yeah, but then the third day, that's when I wanted to start, moving around, because that's what you're supposed to.
Yep.
And I barely did any of that even. I didn't even start moving around until, Monday, I think. Hey. Monday is when I started moving. Officially.
I see.
But, Jesus.
Yeah, it'll knock you out. It'll knock you out. But,
yeah.
What's your experience with holiday horror movies and horror stuff around the holidays, Spectre? You watched any good ones?
I think I might have missed it because I'm watching as I'm cleaning the house, getting ready for Christmas and shit. But did you guys ever mention Krampus yet?
We did. We didn't go over him.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And we didn't go into it in deep detail, but we did talk about him.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's what I thought, because that's definitely when it comes to Christmas horror movies, that's the first one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
Is Krampus.
Did
Easy.
you like it?
Oh yeah, I thought it was pretty neat. I watched it, I think, once, I believe. I might watch it again actually sometime around this year, before Christmas ends. But yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind. But in terms of like other ones, I can't really think of others off the top of my head. It also could just be that I'm pretty tired.
I mean,
It
that
also could
would
be that.
do it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I can't think of any off the top of my head, but yeah.
How do you feel
of
about
course.
like the funny horror stuff like we were talking
Oh
about too?
Jesus. Oh, I mean,
Like Gremlins and like
Gremlins is fucking hilarious. I love it.
I love Gremlins.
What about like Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, that's easily one of my favorites of all time. Easy.
Okay.
Like every single year, I make it a mission to like.
Did he
Did we
mute?
lose him?
It-
Yeah, he looks like he went on mute.
That caught me off guard. I thought I'd like lost connection for a second. I was like, uh-oh.
I was
Uh-oh.
looking really, really intently at Discord. I'm like, I don't know whether to talk or not.
I thought I lost y'all.
I was like, I think I'm connected. I'm like, I'm waiting for something to prompt. And I'm like, oh, you screwed up.
Yep. At least it wasn't us. I got
There
scared.
we
I lost my internet for a second. I was like, no. Spec
You had
freaking
to-
died. He fucking died.
Okay, no, sorry about that. My dad called me mid-conversation.
Oh.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me, dude.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry.
Goddamn.
Speaking of horror,
Yeah.
No shit. Where was I? But yeah, I always make it when it comes to Nightmare Before Christmas. I always make it a mission to watch it at least once or twice. Not only on Christmas, but Halloween because it's both. Anyone who says otherwise can suck my dick till their lips chap. Just saying.
okay.
I have no comment. No comment on that. None whatsoever fucking ever.
It's alright. That's fine. That's fine.
I just want to see somebody be a contrarian now.
That was so
No.
aggressive. Was so aggressive. Why you gotta
I
be
can
so
be.
aggressive?
I can be.
Why you gotta be so rude?
But what else? Like, what else comes? Like, I did hear you guys mention Edward Scissorhands. I recently actually, this year was actually the first I watched that, and I really loved it.
Oh, I love the
Really?
fact that your cherry is getting popped when it comes to good movies. You're gonna be cultured, just like us.
Oh my god.
Ah.
I forgot, like, last year for me it was Back to the Future.
Jesus. It's okay.
When I
My
first-
husband did something similar to me with the Goonies. I had never watched the Goonies.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't watch the Goonies until like last year. I had seen like bits and pieces, like I knew that, hey, you guys, and the truffle shuffle
I
thing.
was just about to say that.
I knew about those things, but I hadn't watched it because when they start, because if you remember in like elementary school, they played like a very particular movie all the time, and in my husband's time, that was Goonies. For
Okay.
me, it was Sandlot. Constantly
Yeah.
Sandlot. Like
Yeah.
I know that movie
I
backwards
see.
and forwards, but
Yep.
it was after, it was like before my time. I came after that kind of generation or that time period
Did
where that
you
was the main
have-
thing.
Did you have captions on?
For Sandlot?
Yeah, for Goonies.
No.
Okay, go back and look up. You could just look it up on the internet anytime. What the mother says in Italian when they got the kids captured.
Oh god, do I
Oh,
really want to know?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's bad.
It's pretty bad, and
It's racy.
a kids movie.
It's racy. That's the 80s. That's the 80s for you though. That's not surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised and taken aback because you never see the words put on the screen, even if you have captions on.
Yeah.
It just says speaking Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. That's
And-
funny.
Yeah, so if you go online and you look up what the mother's lines were, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swatchman
can't-
says
I-
VHS didn't have subtitles. I think I watched it on like YouTube or Amazon or something like that.
Okay.
So
For
I
me,
I don't know.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to like subtitles in general, I have to have them on because my dad is deaf in one ear, so he has to have subtitles on.
Yeah.
So it's gotten to a point where I like it like I autocorrect to like, oh, I'm just gonna have subtitles on even when I'm watching a movie by myself.
Well, and then going back to your ARG stuff, that's a huge thing that I found out with doing all that stuff is having subtitles on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I do that
See,
with like
like-
analog horror because a lot of them they put a lot of like hidden stuff in there that you kind of need in order to understand what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
But like the only other time that I'll do that was with like anime and Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just about to go into a rant and I stopped myself. Let's not do that.
Fair enough.
Let's
Yeah,
not do
it's
that.
funny because
you get-
analog horror when it comes to that too. A good buddy of mine in my friend circle, Ryan, he loves analog horror. So like whenever you like cover specific ones that I've never heard of, I'll be like, hey, have you heard of this before? And he'll either say, oh, like I've never seen it, or he has seen it and that he looked into it because he loves that shit.
Good.
He loves SCP. He loves all that fucking shit. I think one of them he showed me. His is like one of his. He said like one of the most well made is called The Ugly Duckling.
There's also oh god, what is it? Smile something?
Oh god, I don't know.
That's another one that's I've heard of.
One that he made us watch, if I remember right. Let me find it. He made me and my
Smile.jpg?
best-
No, Smile Tapes.
Oh, okay,
And it kind of goes with the Uncanny Valley type stuff.
gotcha. That makes sense.
And I believe it might have been in Russian. So
Oh.
it really, really, really is one of those that it's hard to find all the stuff on because it was like Ukrainian or Russian or something like that.
I see. Okay, what was the name on it? Hang on. I'm trying to find the analog horror that he made us watch. I think if I... Oh, literally, just as I checked the Discord I'm in, and it literally shows that he did send the smile tapes at one point.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, so I might actually watch that now since there's a link in one of the servers I'm in.
Yeah, the Smile Tapes is a great one. This room does not exist. That's the one I was trying to think of with the house does not exist. That's what it's called. This room does not exist.
Does not exist. All right, I'm gonna find it. I found it. All right.
There is a
Subscribe.
ton with that one.
I'm
ton.
going to save these. I like the playlists. I love it when people do playlists. This makes me happy because the worst thing on the planet is going to try and find all of it and putting it in the chronological order. This is the most freaking annoying thing on the planet, and I hate it. So, all right, those are all saved. And you said Smile Tapes?
The Smile Tapes, yeah. I know there's translated versions of that now. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah. I found it.
Okay, I found it.
I found it. Yeah, I've got it too.
I found the one that I was talking about. It's called... Okay, so this one was by a channel by the name of Electric Fanatic, and it's called The Awakening, featuring Harvester. And it is supposed to be a zombie virus EAS scenario, where it's like showing the emergency broadcasts during a zombie apocalypse.
You
And it's
said
like, there's even some like meta COVID, like there's some meta COVID commentary in between it. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's like 55 minutes long.
You said it's Eltic?
No, I said, it's I don't think I've ever, what? It's called,
Yeah, I
Let's
found
see.
it. It says it's called the ELTICC.
oh no, Electric Fanatic. That's the channel.
Oh, it's something covering it?
I
Or-
believe so. Here, I'll send it. Hang on, I'll
Yeah, send it
I'll
to
DM
me.
it to you. Yeah, give me a minute.
Because I see it. It says Zombie Virus EAS Scenario The Awakening
Yep, that's it.
featuring Harvester. Yeah, it's
Yep.
Eltic is the channel that I found.
Oh, that's weird. I guess they must have changed it.
I threw another one in your chat on the stream. Winter of '83.
Winter
It's
of
not-
83.
It's not a
Ooh.
great starting one. It ends very, very strong. Voice acting is super, super strong at the end in it, and it's all audio more than anything. But it's a very, 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 very interesting analog horror story because it's all based on like these found tapes
Uh-huh.
Is
and
it-
just killer snow.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Winter of what again?
83.
83. Ooh.
Since we're
found it.
talking about analog horror, here's a question for the panel. If there's any analog horrors that you could like wish out of your mind, like you could forget it, what's the one that you can think of? I'll start. For me, Gilbert Garfield.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's...
Oh my, like, I'm watching that shit. I get home from church and I look at it. I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Was that the one with the whole like?
Gilbert Garfield. It's basically like an old Garfield tape, and Garfield's kind of like fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a fourth eye in his butthole.
Oh my god.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. It's another Garfield one. Ironically, is probably.
Oh
the
god.
one. God, I gotta try and find it now.
I would say that the one that really like broke me was God, what was it? Hold on, I need to pull it up. It's one of the Slenderman ones.
I think I know which one it is.
I'm pretty sure you probably know too.
Oh god.
I gotta go look. I gotta go look at my freaking playlists, and
Lasagna Cat.
that's a different one. That's definitely a different one.
That's the one I was like, it's kind of weird. It's just weird.
Oh, was it Dark Harvest?
Yeah, it was Dark Harvest that killed me.
Dark Harvest.
Dark
That's what I thought,
Harvest.
Yeah.
Killed me inside. Like
Yeah,
Tribe
no, that
12
was
was
trash.
bad enough, but Dark Harvest, that broke me. I was like, nope, I'm never touching any of this stuff ever again. Please take it away. Because the thing is with the other ones, there was something redeeming to them.
Yeah.
At least Tribe 12 had like, it had some kind of storyline that started out really good, and then it just died.
Yep.
Marble Hornets, first one that really did any of this stuff, was very
Yep.
good until towards the end because they all wanted it to be over, and they'd had Habit.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was Everyman Hybrid had Habit. Marble Hornets had like a storyline that was so intricate, and it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Habit obviously was great in Everyman Hybrid, but it's the same
yeah.
thing with all of these, besides Tribe 12. That one ended because of reasons.
Yeah.
Somebody
heard
likes
of.
little kids, and we don't like them for that.
Oh.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it was the main guy in the story.
the guy who played the main dude. I think his name was like
The main
Adam or
character.
something.
Yeah.
He got caught talking to
Underage people?
young girls.
Lovely. You
Yeah.
want to know the one that disturbed me recently that I found out? You know that everything's fine with the dog sitting at the table and fire in the house?
Oh
What?
yeah.
Yeah, that person is also of that same spectrum.
Yikes.
God.
Yikes. Let's not get too
Yes.
deep into that. It's just not good.
Yeah. No. It was no fun.
No bueno. I don't care who you love who you love, as long as it's not children or animals. We're good.
Yeah.
Yep,
No, that
thank
one
you.
just broke me because I was like, oh, I love that meme. And now I can't ever use it because I know.
Never
Yeah.
again.
I don't blame you.
Oh, man. Because I've used it so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, what do you guys think is like of the ones you've seen? So I obviously don't know everything you guys seen. What do you think is the best ARG, or had like the
God.
best potential?
Shit.
Mine very very clearly is I'm in love with the Monument Mythos, obviously.
Is it the alternate universe that you like the most about that, or is it the storyline of?
I like the storyline, and I like how it like tied back into itself, and that it also it left some things so open that you could put a bunch of spin-offs together using that same kind of like blueprint. And the guy who's doing it is smart enough to like leave things so open-ended and not give all the answers to the questions, so that you, which
is hugely important.
Yeah, and like some of his Q&As, you said like there are monuments in other countries, there are monuments all over the world that haven't been talked about. It's like, ooh, how did it affect everywhere else outside the U.S.? Like what?
I think you're really gonna like that mystery flesh pit.
Oh, I probably would. I'll probably get a fucking kick out of it when I get to it.
It's kind of the same vibe, but with a lighter spin-off of it.
Yeah.
So it's not as heavy and as intense, because like you got like the James Dean thing and all that stuff going on with the Nixon verses, and then another alternate universe, and then like archangels.
Like
all these things.
That's the only thing that I don't like. That's the only thing that I don't like about Monument Mythos, is that some of it is just so confusing that you can't. It's hard to explain it to somebody.
Yeah, and it's you gotta know some things, like what is it? The Archangel, I think that related back to like Philadelphia experiment stuff.
To the Trinity Project.
Or Trinity, yep.
Yeah. A lot of it's Trinity Project and World War II-ish stuff.
Yep.
If I had to pick my favorite off the top of my head, I have to say there's two I can think of. The one I'm gonna probably watch more of because the amount of potential. My favorite is Backrooms, because just the idea that a 16-year-old is making this shit, number one, or back then was making it, number one. Yeah. And number two, it gets A24 to not only fund a movie for it, but it has him still direct and make it.
Yup. I'm gonna go see that shit, and I will do the exact same thing that I did with Five Nights at Freddy's. Same. I will go watch it, and I will come back and give a reaction to it. And even if it's a quick shitty movie, I'm doing it.
Yeah, and it's even better because I love A24. I love their work. So the fact that he got funding from them is all the more impressive.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Same. But then the second one off the top of my head, I'm gonna watch more of it because I see the potential, and I'm also a huge fan of the creator that was a part of it, Greylock Tapes.
Greylock Tapes looks so much fun.
Is very, very, very good. It's as equally well put together a storyline.
Yeah.
As the whole Backrooms side of things with Kane Pixel.
Yeah.
It's right up there. I mean, like, that's the thing, is that there's so many different things with like the analog horror and the ARG side of stuff. Like, there's, like you guys were saying, great stories that have just died.
Yep.
And there's like these other, like, there's so many different lesser known ones that like are amazing. I'm trying to think, there's another one that I just came across that was like blew my mind about how well put together it was.
Yep. And like analog horror as a whole, it's like, to me, they just completely shit on a lot of the schlock freaking haunted house horror bullshit that we get today.
Yep. Yeah. I'll agree with you 100% there.
Because that's why I lean, and she knows this, I lean more towards horror games because they don't use fucking jump scares as a crutch. Or they don't try to, like, cheapen the audience.
It depends.
It does depend on the experience, yes. But more often than not, they do it better than movies recently.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
Like, my last favorite horror movie I watched was, unironically, from A24, The Lighthouse.
Yeah,
I've heard it's pretty good. I haven't seen it though.
I loved it. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are unironically like really good duo.
Yes.
Especially Willem Dafoe. He was fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm sort of shocked. Not necessarily shocked, but I'm pleasantly surprised by Robert Pattinson lately.
Oh yeah.
Especially since he came from my least favorite
Sparkling Gears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one rule I know is don't ever bring up Twilight.
I'm feeling a rant coming on again.
See, that's exactly why.
This is the second time this stream that I'm wanting to rant. One about the
Just
Yu
bring
Yu
it.
Hakusho fucking TV series, and about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bite my tongue. I'm gonna
You got
smile. I'm gonna grin and bear it. I'm
You
not
can do
gonna.
it. You
I'm
got
not
it.
gonna. I'm not gonna. This is not what this is about. This is not what this is about.
So I heard you mention that you came back from church. I want to ask you another question with the horror genre. Have you noticed that there's more and more and more of these analog and ARG horrors that are tied with religion?
Yes,
I love
I
it.
have.
And what's your feeling
Yes.
on that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm not one of those crazy psychos that you see publicly out there. I'm not one of those.
You're not an
Or at least
evangelical
I hope I'm
Christian.
not. Huh?
You're not an evangelical Christian.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm
The militant ones.
something. I'm completely different. Yeah, I'm good.
I
At least
see.
that's what I hope.
I'm agnostic, but I just find it so really interesting. Like, because I know a lot of the stuff. I grew up with a lot of the stuff, and I just find it amazing. Like how people have tied the one I can't think of. It's a recent one, and it's tied into some like Christian type lore, as well as Grimm's Tales, like Little Red Riding Hood and stuff like that. And it takes place with these puppets in the wood, and it's like this educational horror type thing where you
I
find
recently covered that. What is it? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you find out the puppets are representative of kids that have kind of gotten killed.
Yeah, they've gone missing and died. What is it called? Oh my god, I've done a stream on this.
Hang on, let me find it. I'm at your channel right now, so I'll look.
I've done a stream covering this.
Forest Friends?
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Forest Friends?
So.
Yeah,
Forest
I think
Friends.
that's what it was.
There's a lot of religious undertone with that, and I
Mm-hmm.
just thought it was so fantastically well done.
Yeah, it's honestly, for me, it just doesn't matter. If anything, it actually kind of makes the stories better because it's rooted in religion in some occasions. It actually makes the story better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because because then you got to follow set rules, and when you follow set rules, then manage to make it work masterfully, then that's what makes it better. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think even Mandela tapes, wasn't it?
The Mandela catalog is heavily rooted in religion.
Like their first video, I think, has it.
Yeah, they have Veggie Tales undertones and that stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I grew up with Veggie Tales, but yeah.
Broccoli, celery, peachy keen, Veggie Tales. That shit that slaps. Don't even at me,
It
bro.
does. No, it does. No, not
It
without a
slaps.
doubt. I had I think I have a couple of the movies still around my house.
Wait a minute, I gotta address chat. Why, Jacob? Why does that make you hate New Jersey? Because
I
I'm
mean-
from Jersey.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Oh.
Don't be talking
that
about my
is-
garbage pit, okay? Only we can talk about it.
That is true, Jacob. A24 is making a Death Stranding movie.
That's gonna be interesting.
That is going to be interesting because Kojima is involved still.
Yeah.
So.
I'm so excited. The one big thing that I'm really excited about besides the DBZ sparking is, bro,
OD.
Jordan
Yes, Jordan Peele. And
Hideo Kojima.
That
Bro.
sounds really interesting.
Bro.
I just hope it's really if throughout all the talk that they gave to Jeff at the Game Awards, it better be some good top tier shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop everything I'm doing when that comes out, and I'm streaming the shit out of that. I'm streaming
blame
the
you.
fuck
Did you
out
guys
of
watch
that.
Nope?
Yeah. No,
I
actually.
haven't. No.
No.
That was such a letdown. I'm not gonna lie. That
Really?
movie's been a huge letdown. It had potential to be fantastic, and it was just heartbreaking. To me,
That's
as
what
far
I've
as,
heard.
As far as the movies that he's made before,
Yeah.
compared to this one, there was so much potential with it, and it was an underlying story that actually had the most potential in that movie, not the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got to the whole main character portion of it, it just was the best way I could say it is they're fighting tissue paper. That's That's your
Mm,
monster at the
I
end is
see.
tissue paper. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
The
Pause.
last.
Pause.
But
Teddy says the best Christmas horror movie is Home Alone. That kid was a psychotic hell beast that took pleasure in torturing the intellectually challenged. That is a very interesting way to put that, Teddy. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, and
I mean, technically in Home Alone 2, he did almost commit murder by dropping a brick on a dude's face.
I mean, he almost commits murder multiple times in both of the
That
Home
is
Alone
true.
movies.
Yes.
I
Yes,
was
that
gonna
is
say
true.
the whole
But-
backdoor scene where they're just trying to initially get in the house. They about die
Yeah.
like 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm of the mind that if you try to break in somebody's house and to harm somebody's property, that is
Yes.
grounds to screw up your shit.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
There
Yeah.
is a horror part to that movie though, because I remember like as a kid watching it. Obviously, I'm old enough to remember it coming out and all that. The snow shovel dude scared the shit out of me.
Kevin grew up to be Jigsaw.
It's funny.
But I don't know if you remember that guy. That and the
No.
pigeon lady, both of them scared the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
There was a lot more horror to that now that I'm looking back. That
There
I
is a lot of it. Oh yeah, there's a lot that you could say is horrifying.
yeah.
Yep.
Kevin McAllister was
Mhm.
literally just wholesome Jigsaw. Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Want to play a little game?
Teddy, look what you've done.
Teddy has literally caused chaos.
He just changed my entire look on life. Really? No.
Oh my god! Between this and then the whole now recording thing when they talked about Twilight. No, I know
Oh,
it's a no
Jesus.
subject, but oh my god, both have
Let's
changed me.
not. Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not. Not
Yeah.
because of who was talking about it, but because of the subject. I will get on a rant and it will not stop, and I will be angry. I will be angry all night long. I won't want to eat because I'll be angry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you better.
My
yeah,
little
and
mini
when that
horse
happens, you
heart
better
will be
run.
so angry, full of anger and hate. Ah!
Oh shit.
I will boil it down to one sentence. I grew up in a D&D household. Vampires do not fucking sparkle in the sunlight. They combust. Period.
Unless if you're a Asterian, and in which they sparkle in the way that attracts women.
No, he doesn't sparkle. He has a magical
it's a- no,
thing
it
in
was-
his fucking head that makes him able to deal with the sunlight.
Yeah,
Just
no,
like
I
in
know,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Spike found a ring that was magical that kept him from getting hurt by the sunlight.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah, no, that was a joke because of how the amount of people that like are heavy into Asterian.
Yes, I know. I'm one of them.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I like my pretty posh assholes. Leave me alone, Spectre. I'm feeling very attacked right now.
So I gotta ask, since you're of the D&D world, what would you say is the best vampire then? Like of the vampire movies that you can think of.
Oh, Interview with anything that has to do with Interview with the Vampire is the best that I've ever seen. Interview with the Vampire and Anne Rice's novels are fucking phenomenal. They are porn laden.
Yeah.
They are a middle-aged woman's wet dream. And I am middle-aged pretty much. So it's
See,
made
I-
for
I-
me.
I liked 30 Days a Night.
30
I
Days a Night
really
is
like that whole
great. It is great.
concept. Like,
Oh,
just
oh,
'cause
oh.
It had so many roots into The Thing
Yeah.
from
Oh yeah.
just it had that root, and it actually, like, have you ever realized that The Thing is a remake?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you seen the original?
Yep.
What did you think?
It's very different. I think that they took the concept that came in the original and made it better.
You think they made it
Which-
better?
And in The Thing, yes.
Which one is the remake?
The Thing that came out in the 1980s is the remake of
60s was it? Or
it was
late
in the
50s?
1960s, something like that. I think it was like I think it Thing came from outer space or something like that.
Yeah.
So the remake is the one with Kurt Russell?
Correct. That is a remake.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so then I watched that one. Okay.
Yes,
Arguably
and so-
the greatest horror film ever made. Yeah.
Easily. Yeah, 100%.
Evil Dead 2 is my favorite, but the greatest horror movie of all time ever made is The Thing.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah,
argue
yeah.
with that.
I don't know.
Well, you
I
can,
thought
but-
it was pretty interesting how it was a totally different concept, and I
Yeah.
never realized it.
Yeah.
I just recently watched it.
Yeah.
Like, less than 6 months ago.
Yeah, so see,
And
Spectre will attest that I have more experience and more knowledge on older horror movies than I do
Yep.
current horror movies. Like
It's because of
Vincent
her that I'm a
Price,
fan of Vincent Price.
Bela Lugosi, all of those guys, Lon Chaney Jr., all
Sure.
those guys. That's my bread and butter. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Vincent Price is just such a unique character.
Yes, he is. Bro, that man can wear anything and still has the definition of fucking style.
He is
Yep.
he is Riz personified.
Yes.
He oozes style.
That dude just is wiggling his mustache like.
Jesus, yeah.
And come on, can you tell me honestly the Thriller wouldn't be as good as it is without his readings in
No.
there?
No.
Nope.
I stand my case. I rest my case.
Yeah. Especially the laugh at the end, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
See, I think my best exposure to Vincent Price younger was probably the House on Haunted Hill remake.
The remake is not very well. I wouldn't say that the original was like the best. Yeah, I was not a big fan of the remake.
I liked the whole concept in the beginning of the horror theme park. That like actually intrigued the crap out of me as a kid. Like the elevator falling and all that. Like it just was an awesome idea.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's kind of unique because I think playing into like ARGs and analog horror, I'm kind of interested to see because right now you get a lot of analog horror and everything's based on like 80s, 90s cassette tapes, video VHS. I want to see if that's ever going to progress into like the DVD era and like kind of that like early medium of internet and stuff era. I want to see if analog horror is going to progress to that or if it's going to become a completely different style.
We'll have to find out.
I
But,
guess, yeah.
I'm going to start closing it out because I need to eat.
Okay.
And I think we've hit the 2-hour mark almost. But do you guys have any
alright.
final words that you would like to say to the audience before we close everything out?
Teddy W.
I will say you can I'm going to be getting back into the ropes since I'm recovering completely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get back in the ropes and doing content shit. I'll get something out sometime this month.
Nice.
I originally was gonna do Alan Wake, but I have not finished it yet. But I did finish something else that I'm going to be covering this month, hopefully.
Ooh.
Yeah, all I'll say is Viking things.
Nice.
Okay, so get ready for that. All right, peace out, guys. Much love.
See you,
Thanks
Spectre.
for
Have a good
having me.
night.
Peace out.
All right, Patrick. What would you like to say before we close out tonight?
Oh, not much. I enjoyed coming and hanging out, and I enjoyed just doing
I did
horror
as
talk
well.
and everything. So I think we had a fun time. If you guys want to come check me out, I cover a bunch of different topics. I touch on drama stuff, but I also touch on just basically anything I like on my channel. So because it's my space,
All
but
right,
it's
well.
not my space.
Lol. But thank you for coming on, Patrick. Thank you everybody in
appreciate
the
it. Thank you for having
audience. Absolutely. Thank you for everybody in the audience that came by to say hello and support. I very much appreciate everything you do. Like and subscribe if you are not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Sweet nightmares.
Bite me one time. Bite me twice. Oh, that's rather nice. Frankenstein, freaks and grunge. Scream out loud, you're out of luck. Crime so peaceful. love.